सरकार ने चावल के निर्यात पर लगाया प्रतिबंध। 1 million tons Indian rice stuck at ports as buyers refuse to pay duty. Recently, Government of India has announced some restrictions on the export of rice from the country. कुछ महीने पहले ऐसा ही सुनने मिला था wheat के बारे में when Government of India imposed a ban on the export of wheat from the country. Now, rice and wheat being two most important crops in the country, anything related to them becomes important. So, what is the news? On Thursday, 8th September, the Department of Revenue in the Ministry of Finance notified the slapping of a 20% duty on exports of rice other than parboiled and basmati rice with effect from September 9. Now, without going too deep in the news, let us look at some facts regarding rice. Rice is a staple food for most of the population in India. Rice is a kharif crop which requires high temperature and high humidity with annual rainfall above 100 cm. Now, rice being a kharif crop, it is important to know there are two other important cropping seasons, the Rabi season, which is sown in winter, and the Zaid, which is sown in between kharif and Rabi. About one fourth of the total cropped area in India is under rice cultivation. India is also the second largest producer of rice after China. West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, and Punjab are the leading producer states when it comes to rice, while Punjab has the highest productivity in terms of rice. Coming back to the news, it says the Ministry of Finance has notified a slapping of 20% duty on exports of rice, which means that there is not an outright ban on the export of rice, but a export duty of 20% has been imposed on rice other than parboiled and basmati, which certainly says that there are some other kinds of rice from the country which are exported as well. So let us look at the types of rice that are exported from the country. Basmati, parboiled non-basmati, raw rice, broken non-basmati rice. The emphasis in the news is given on raw rice and broken non-basmati rice. So understanding what broken rice is simply derived from milling of paddy grain that is produced by farmers. In this picture, we can easily understand what are the different parts of a rice. The rice bran, rice husk, the edible part of the rice. So, rice is derived from milling of paddy grain produced by farmers. Paddy typically has 20 to 21% husk, 10 to 11% bran. What remains after the removal of husk and bran is the white raw rice that constitutes 68 to 69% of paddy. The milled rice, in turn, has both whole and broken grains. The emphasis in the news is given on broken grains. The other term that needs some attention is parboiled rice. Now, parboiling is a process where the paddy is soaked in water, steamed, and dried while retaining its outer husk. It results in the rice becoming harder with less breakage on milling. Now, why parboiled rice is very important? Because of the fact the government of India is emphasizing on rice fortification using parboiled rice. Rice fortification is a process where addition of micronutrients such as iron, folic acid, vitamin B12 is added in order to address the nutritional insecurity in a timely manner. Almost 15% of the milled rice in the world is parboiled rice. It is also claimed that parboiled rice contains double the amount of vitamins than normal rice and it is easy to digest. Coming to the reasons, possible reasons that can be put behind the export duty of 20%. Now, rice being a kharif crop, it is highly water intensive. That is, it requires a lot of water. And possibility of India's rice production declining significantly because of deficient monsoon rainfall in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand and Gangetic West Bengal. So there is a possibility of India's rice production to go down because of the deficient monsoon rainfall. During the current Kharif cropping season from June 1 to September 9, farmers have planted 2.1 million hectares less area under rice compared to the same period last year. So if the planting has been done less, the production is bound to go down. The other reason that is cited is yields in Punjab and Haryana turn out lower this year due to a new virus that has caused dwarfing of paddy plants in many fields there. Now, what can be the possible impacts of this step taken? India has a 40% share in the world's total rice exports, with its 21 million ton plus shipments last year, and it was way ahead of Thailand, Vietnam, and Pakistan. Thus, India matters to the global trade in rice, unlike in wheat, where it is only an occasional large exporter. We saw in the month of April May that India imposed a ban on wheat export that was mostly because of the supply disruptions due to the war in Ukraine. But in terms of rice, India has a larger role to play. White rice with 5% broken from India is currently being shipped out of India at about $340 per ton as against 380 from Pakistan, 395 from Vietnam. So that additional 20% of duty hasn't caused much difference to the competitiveness of India's broken rice. So there is not going to be a big impact, and also the broken rice being that has been imposed a 20% duty on is mostly used as animal feed and in ethanol production, so it has not a direct effect on the rice availability in the country. Now, some of the major export destinations for India's rice. We can see that 75% of basmati rice is exported to Iran and also to US, UK, Canada, and Australia, while non-basmati rice goes majorly to African countries. But the two individual buyers remain China and Bangladesh. So we will keep up to this in this video. Thank you. And if you like the content, do give us a like.